Hello. Welcome back to a review I've been wanting to do for a long time. Ever since I've heard that whenever season 1 ended, it left me in kind of a blah. But whenever they said season 2 is coming back, I just want to do this review. So, without further ado, if you know what movie I'm talking about, Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events. Season 2 is back on Netflix. And the Baudelaires have gotten themselves into a little bit of a predicament in this season. Count Olaf has rejoined an old love. Count Olaf is the guy that's been trying to kill the Baudelaire orphans. And the Baudelaires have met up with some new people. So anyway, let's without further ado, let's get started. This season is all about the Baudelaires trying to find out more about their parents' past, and while they're digging up the past, to get to the future, they run into more problems than good. Because in the first book is that they're focusing on is called that Ostery Academy. This covers so much stuff. I'm only gonna give you like a little snippet. If you want me to review every single episode in its entirety, I will. I just got Netflix back. This is the main reason I got Netflix back. But anyway, they find out that one of their parents might be still alive. They get help and they find out what the tattoo on Count Olaf's leg actually means. It's not VF. They think it's an I, but it actually means VFD, Volunteer Fire Department. And they're pretty much the people that start to put out the fires that people make. And I don't mean like an actual real fire, although sometimes they do. I mean like an actual storm fire. And then they go to the Ersat elevator, ERSATZ elevator. And this one, Count Olaf comes back as disguised as a art dealer, because the whole city is on a manhunt looking for him, and he's in disguise. And yeah, he's in disguise, and he's in disguise as a art dealer, and he has another set of orphans that they met at the Baudelaires met at the academy. He has them set up and trapped. And Duncan and what is his sister's name? What was his sister's name? Anyway, it's Duncan and Isadora. That's what it is. Their parents are also part of the VFD, which was a part of the Baudelaires, so they're connected, and so they're trying to work together. But Count Olaf kind of interjects by kidnapping the Quagmires. He kind of interjects by kidnapping the Quagmires, and the Quagmires are trying to figure out what VFD stands for, and they're Baudelaires and the Quagmires are working together, trying to get against Count Olaf. While this is going on, you got this other society, part of the Volunteer Fire Department, Jacques Snicket, which is actually Lemony Snicket's brother, the narrator, which is actually played by the very cool guy that talks like this. You might know him as David Puddy from Seinfeld. He is, what is that guy's name? Patrick Warburton. He was David Puddy, Elaine's boyfriend in Seinfeld. and he was also in The Tick. But anyway, as all the things are going on, he's pretty much narrating them, walking through every scene, kind of narrating each book, and kind of narrating everything. And their new guardian and lives in this big old penthouse, married to this woman named Esme. Esme was actually Count Olaf's, was part of Count Olaf's acting troupe, and so she pretty much runs off with Count Olaf and gets rid and tries to get rid of his her husband, which is actually the Baudelaires' next guardian. And I kind of noticed something. I kind of realized something, because at the beginning of this season, they kind of recap what happened last season. And each time they say guardian, the guardian is each member of their, they say like Aunt Josephine, Uncle Monty, and so on and so forth. They're all kind of members of the VFD, the Volunteer Fire Department. Excuse me. They're all kind of members of the Volunteer Fire Department. And let's see. And whenever they escape from the clutches of Esme and Olaf, Count Olaf gets away, taking the Quagmire twins, taking the Quagmire twins and this Ray Herring, which he actually smuggles them out during an art show. And I'm not, like I said, I'm gonna review all these episodes. So click that like button. I'm just giving you like a bit of a heads up on each. I'm just giving you like a little recap of what's going on in all this thing. So anyway, after they get done with, so while this is going on, you got Jacques and you got Olivia, which is actually the librarian from the school. She joins the volunteers, and so they're pretty much working together. And after that, they go to this the Baudelaires go to this village, the Vile Village, and they're being tracked by they're following Count Olaf and his acting troupe, and right behind them you got Jacques and Olivia following Baudelaires. Actually, no, wait. You got Count Olaf ahead, then you got Jacques, then you got the Baudelaires. So anyway, then they go to this village. It's called the Vile Village, and it says home of the VFD, which is like, I think it was like the what was it? Anyway, they're in love with, they worship the crow, and Count Olaf has the Quagmire twins, the Quagmire twins, and actually they're triplets because their brother died in the fire. But anyway, has the Quagmire twins in the town square of this fountain. That's why there's no water coming out of a fountain. And so and you know that term that it takes a village to raise a child. Well, in this one, the villagers are using the Baudelaires to do their chores and all this other stuff. And then this episode marks the death of Jacques Snicket, even though he was only around, I think he might have been around in the first season, I forgot. But anyway, he might have been around in the first season. I can't really remember. I gotta go back and watch it. Anyway, so Count Olaf takes this disguise of a detective, of like this detective that writing is so bad you think he might be in like a anyway, they're working with their new guardian, which has a big fainting problem. He creates this floating home, kind of like an Up, but he doesn't have a house floating to it. It's like a platform. And so Olaf is working with a new police chief, which is Esme. Everybody's acting. Well, Count Olaf has some pretty bad acting in this one, but he's got some. I mean, Neil Patrick Harris has some pretty bad acting as Count Olaf, but he's pretty good. So anyway, we're going on. The Baudelaires are convicted of murder of Jacques Snicket, which everybody thinks is Count Olaf, just because he's got a tattoo of VFD on his and he looks a little bit like Count Olaf. But anyway, so they be put in prison, and they gotta try to find a way out, and they make a way out because of this catapult, this battering ram made of stale bread, and part of a bench, which they ram into the wall, and they think that the Baudelaires helped Jacques, killed Jacques, but that's not true. Count Olaf did, of course, because he's trying to get rid of every single guardian that's trying to help the Baudelaires. And so they escape from the village, and then next they escape the village on this fire truck. The Quagmires escape with the guardian that was supposed to be with the fainting guardian with the Baudelaires, and then they come upon this man that says VFD, which means volunteer. They're volunteer singing, which means and then they go to this hospital. This episode called the Hostel Hospital. They're trying to get they're trying to escape, and then they meet a very familiar face for some of you that have seen In Living Color. They meet David Alan Grier as a senile records keeper, and in this one, Count Olaf disguises himself as this guy, as his doctor name, Dr. Medical School, and he says, like, Dr. Medical School. Can you not come up with anything else, Count Olaf? Seriously. And so while they're trying to do all this, Count Olaf, or Dr. Medical School, has everybody fooled with his acting troupe, and the acting troupe is like disguising himself as orderlies, and Klaus and Sonny are working together. Trying to rescue Violet, which Count Olaf has gotten to his grasp, and so Klaus and Sonny disguise themselves as doctors. God, some of these people in this show are stupid if they can't see through Count Olaf's disguise. And that's half the point. Nobody believes them. But anyway, the show goes on. Count Olaf's trying to kill the orphans so he can get their fortune, as he says. And then Count Olaf pretty much sets the building on fire. After his latest plan goes wrong, while and he's like, attention, this is Dr. Medical School. There are 3 murderers, the Baudelaire murderers, in the hospital. Please get them. They're trying to escape. They have set fire. Thank you. And while they're all escaping and trying to escape the angry mob, Violet comes up with this not Violet. Yeah, Violet. Violet. Duh. I drew a brain. Anyway, moving on. She comes up with they all trying to escape, and everybody. Then you see the hospital is on fire, and she's trying to find out what an escape plan. And the only vehicle that she sees is the back of Count Olaf's car. And so they hop in Count Olaf's car, Violet, Klaus, and Sonny, and then they're on their way to their next destination, which is a place called the Carnivorous. In the next episode, called the Carnivorous Carnival. the carnivorous carnival. And then they meet this person called Madame Lulu, which is actually Olivia from the library in disguise, because she went there to try to get answers to help the Baudelaires. And it's all, then they see this, and they all come out and get the, and she goes into this tent, and the Count Olaf comes up with this idea that he can, Count Olaf comes up with this idea that he can get one of this. Then Violet and Klaus comes up with the idea that they're trying to stay out of the way of Count Olaf, and by also disguising himself as some of the circus folks. And so Violet and Klaus, they do this what is it? They disguise themselves as a two-headed freak, and then Sunny disguises herself as this baby that was born a baby but was raised by wolves and was raised by tigers. Sorry, it's been a long day. But anyway, the movie's going on, the episode's going on, and Count Olaf pretty much running the circus by saying, "Welcome, welcome to the house of freaks," and he's trying to describe every freak in the house, which is like this dude with a hunchback, this lady that can contort her body in like a million different ways, and this dude that can write with two hands, which I think is ambidextrous. I think that's his name. I think that's his name. Ambidextrous. And ambidextrous. And he's like, "Welcome, welcome to the house of freaks." I gotta say, Neil Patrick Harris does a pretty good job as Count Olaf, and he can sing pretty good too. So anyway, moving on. And then Esme comes in and says to the freaks that one of you can be killed by jumping into a pit of lions. And so then they come up with, and she sees, and she also comes up with this plan to kill Madame Lulu, because she's moving in on Count Olaf. And I can tell by Esme, the minute that I seen her, whenever she was back in the elevator episode, she was gonna be bad news. So anyway, moving on. So she comes up with this plan to kill Madame Lulu, which is actually Olivia. And then Madame Lulu just gives them like all the answers they've been looking for. About 90% of the answers they've been looking for, and gives them about 90% of the answers that they've been looking for, like who was the VFD. Then they come up that saying one of their parents might be still alive, and Olaf has this information too. So in this last circus act in the episode, and he's like, one of you will be able to, one of these freaks, and then he pushes he's like, one of these freaks will jump into the lion's den, and he's like, so nice is twice. And the two-headed freak, and that's when Violet and Klaus come up. And they're about to jump into the lion's den. Then Olivia comes up, and she's like, wait, let me push them. And he's like, okay, fine. And then they're about to push each other, and he's like, what do we do? I don't know. We don't have a plan. Quit whispering. Because I can think Count Olaf is deathly afraid of lions. And so Madame Lulu, or Olivia, she pushes them off the edge, and they land safely. And she's like, and Count Olaf's like, I know you. You're that librarian. And he's like, I'm no longer a librarian. Then she just wrote, and she takes off her disguise, and she pulls out the spyglass, which is, I'll touch on the spyglass later in my episodes. And then she pulls out a spyglass, and she's like, I'm a volunteer. And he's like, thank you for volunteering. And then he cuts the rope holding the board. Sorry. He cuts the rope holding the board, killing Olivia. And so then the circus is over. Count Olaf wants to burn down the carnival, burning down all, and then they're about to. Then he gets to Baudelaire's to set fire to Madame Lulu's tent, where it has all the answers that they're looking for. And then they're pretty much on their way to this big old mountain. Wait a minute. Yeah, to this mountaintop that has the answer that they've been looking for about the Baudelaire's parents. And he's like, okay, you two freaks back there. Yeah, I know you're actually the Baudelaire's. And then, where's Sunny and all this, you say? She's actually in the car with the Count Olaf's acting troupe. And he's like, you're actually the Baudelaire's. And then you see this, the three freaks cutting the rope. And this, cutting the rope that connects the car to the trolley. And then she says, so long, Baudelaire's. And this episode pretty much ends in a cliffhanger, a literal cliffhanger, because you see this wheel of the trolley of the caboose hanging on the edge of the what is it? On the edge of the cliff. Sorry, I don't know why I've been having brain farts all day, brain blanks. And yeah, so anyway, that was a recap, kind of a highlights episode, if you will, of a Lemony Snicket Series Unfortunate Event Season 2. Like I said, I'm going to be reviewing every single episode, because I'm going back to during the first season. Now I'm going to bring you every single episode. And so yeah, anyway guys, like, comment, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff. And remember, VFD, Volunteer Fire Department. See ya.